Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Your ability to achieve your own happiness is the true measure of your success in life. Nothing is more important. Nothing can replace it. If you accomplish everything of a material nature, but you are not happy, you have actually failed at fulfilling your potential as a human being. Those opening words are by Brian Tracy. So I want to welcome you to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today as we continue this 11-part series on my book, The 10 Foundational Elements of Intentional Transformation, How to Become Your Best Self. So as always, I want to recap. We're building this visual pyramid for you to wrap your mind around what this whole book is about, what this series is about. Kind of think of a pyramid. And again, think of the land, the dirt, what we're going to build this pyramid on. That foundation, the ultimate foundation, again, is our values. So values are like the soil that we're going to build our transformational pyramid on. Layer 1 is going to be thought. Thought is the foundation of choice. And again, these thoughts are based on our values. That's what's going to cause us to think how we think. What causes that is our values. So layer 1, thought is the foundation of choice. Layer 2, choice is the foundation of vision. Layer 3 is vision, which is the foundation of hope. Hope. Level 4 is hope. Layer 4 is the foundation of sacrifice. And layer 5, sacrifice becomes the foundation of discipline. And then layer 6, discipline is the foundation of growth. And layer 7, that growth becomes the foundation for positive change, again related back to our vision. And then layer 8 is that positive change, which becomes the foundation of success. And that's what we're here to do today. I'm here today with you to cover layer 9 of this transformational pyramid, which is success. And success is the foundation of significance. You see, a lot of people think success is the goal. They want to become successful. And that's great to become, but there's a higher level, significance. But you can't get to significance without success. Significance is a choice that only successful people can make. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about that on the next episode. And if all those layers and levels I just talked about, the previous 8, if you miss those, this session is going to mean a whole lot more if you go back and start at the beginning with episode 1, which is an introduction to these 10 levels. That's why it's an 11-part series and not 10, because I have an introduction. So success is the foundation of significance. And I shared this a little bit before as we were leading up to this. To become more successful, you must focus on becoming more valuable, not more successful. See, the key to achieving a high degree of success is to focus on becoming more valuable, not more successful. I know I just said it twice. You need to hear it twice. Too many people focus on success and becoming successful, and they don't focus on becoming valuable, so therefore they don't become successful. They got it backwards. But the more value you bring to the table, the more successful you will be around the table. I think that's pretty simple to understand. So I want to share a quote with you by Dennis Waitley. He says this: "A sign of wisdom and maturity is when you come to terms with the realization that your decisions cause your rewards and consequences. You are responsible for your life, and your ultimate success depends on the choices you make. Those, again, were the words from Dennis Waitley. But think about the last sentence. You are responsible for your life, and your ultimate success depends on the choices you make. So see, you can see how this thing goes all the way back to layer 2, level 2 in our 10-layered transformational pyramid that I'm trying to get you to have a mental picture around. Choices all the way back at 2. But that's the choice to choose a vision. And again, it also applies to all the other choices that you make in life. But relative to transformation, one of the most important choice, if not, I'm saying it's the most important choice relative to transformation, is choosing your vision. And you're going to have to do it over and over. You don't just choose a vision and that's it for the rest of your life. As you grow and change, your vision's going to change. So the most successful people are those who help others become successful. But however, until you create a high level of success for yourself, it's not likely that you will be in a position to help others become highly successful. So if you're reading the book, this section for layer 9 actually starts with chapter 25. So the rest of this book, if you're reading in the book, the rest of this series, if you've just been listening to the podcast series, the remainder is intended to help you understand what it truly means to be successful, significant, and ultimately to leave a legacy. That's what we're going to be covering. So if you choose to develop the habits of success, you'll make success a habit. It kind of sounds simple, but a lot of people miss it. Successful people have the habit of intentionally investing time and money into growing themselves because they value themselves and they know this truth. You already know it. I know it. You know it. This is it. Life is hard. Life is hard. No matter how easy or how good it may be today, I promise you, if you live long enough, it's going to be hard again. And it may be hard at the moment. It's just the way it is. Life's hard. So people who know that and want to do something about it, they take responsibility to make life a little easier by developing themselves. Remember, developing yourselves gives you options. Freedom and options will make life better. Still going to be hard, but it can be better. And as a result, they're able to achieve better results. That's what this whole book and series is about, helping you choose. If you're still listening and you've been listening to the rest of it, you're doing it. You're developing yourself. You're changing your thought process. You're changing your mindset. Hopefully you're applying it. That's where the rubber hits the road. But when it comes to creating success, I want to share with you the words from Norman Vincent Peale because they ring true. He says, believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your powers, you cannot be successful or happy. This is why the habit of intentionally growing and developing yourself is the key. Your growth in your area of passion and purpose will give you confidence, and you'll quickly separate yourself from those who are coasting through life. And I assume that's what you want to do. If you're still listening to this, or you're listening to it for the first time, there's something in you that a lot of people don't have. All you got to do is look out the window at the rest of the world and you can figure it out real quick. There's something about you that's different, and it's a good thing. You're focused on intentional growth and development of yourself. And hopefully you're sharing this with other people. Tell other people about this podcast. It doesn't cost them a penny. If they got a smartphone, they got easy access to it. If they got a computer, they got easy access to it. It's why I do it. Some people don't want to spend money, but they will if they grow themselves to a certain level. They'll start spending money on their growth and development. At this point, that may or may not be you, but there's no reason not to share this with other people because it's free. That's why I do it. It's a way to get people going who may not ever want to spend money or may not understand they need to spend money and what's possible. But I want to tell you this. This is a big deal right here. The byproduct of growth and development is belief and confidence. I'm going to say it again because it's powerful. It's what happens. The byproduct of growth and development is belief and confidence. The more you grow and develop, the more you're going to believe in yourself and the more confidence you're going to have. So let me talk about this now. The byproduct of belief and confidence is success. That's what we're talking about today. But success is rooted in growth and development because it leads to belief and confidence, which leads to success. It's a big deal. What you're doing is a big deal. The more you do it, the more you're going to benefit. The less you do it, the less you're going to benefit. I don't know how often you listen to these podcasts or other people's podcasts, or if you're reading books, watching videos, teaching others. That's the number one thing to do. When you learn this stuff, don't just listen to it, turn it off, listen to it, turn it off. Start telling people what you're learning. That's one of the biggest ways I learn. As soon as I read something, I start telling it to somebody. That's why every time you hear me speak, most of the time there's going to be some new stuff in there because a lot of times I may be sharing something on stage that I learned that morning because I want it to stick. If you want this stuff to stick, you got to start teaching it to other people. If you're a leader of other people, when you send them to a conference or something like that, you tell them, hey, when you get back, I'm going to bring a group of people together and you're going to teach us what you learned at the conference. Because what it's going to do is, first thing, is going to cause them to pay attention at the conference because they got to know they got to come back and teach it to some people. Even if it's 15-minute overview or 30-minute overview, I want you to teach us what you got out of the session. That's going to get people pumping on all 8 cylinders while they're there. All right? So now, let's think about no matter how much someone else believes in you, you must ultimately believe in yourself. You can borrow belief from others to get going, but to be highly effective, highly successful, you must believe in yourself. And you can generate this belief and confidence, like I just mentioned, from within by simply leading yourself well in the direction you want to go. Consider the wisdom in the words of Saint Francis of Assisi. If I'm saying that right. If I'm not, doesn't matter. The name not important. What they said is what's important. Start doing what is necessary, then do what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. That's what's important. To be successful, you must start where you are and do what you can. Karen Lamb says this: a year from now, you will wish you would have started today. I share that quote quite often. I always share it on New Year's Day. But do this consistently. And what I mean is start where you are and do what you can. Do this consistently and endlessly, and you will become highly successful. Discipline is the key to success. And see, we've already covered that. That's one of the foundational elements. We covered it already. If you haven't listened to it, you got to go back and get it. It's in this series. But do you dream about a higher level of success? I imagine you do. I imagine that's why you're listening. What that may look like for you is different for other people. But do you dream about a higher level of success? This question reminds me of a story about an old Army general. I forget where I read it, but I put it in my transformation book, and I want to share it with you here. But it reminds me of a story about an old Army general sitting at the bar of an officers' club, staring at his third martini. A brand new second lieutenant comes in and spots him. He can't resist sitting next to the general and starting up a conversation. The old general patiently listens to the kid and courteously answers his questions. After a time, the second lieutenant gets to what he really wants to know. How do you make general? He asks with raw, unconcealed ambition. Well, son, said the old general, here's what you do. You work like a dog. You never stop studying. You train your troops hard, and you take care of them. You're loyal to your commander and your soldiers. You do the best you can in every mission, and you love the army. You are ready to die for the mission and your troops. That's all you have to do. The second lieutenant replied with a soft young voice, Wow, and that's how you make general? No, bellowed the old general. That's how you make first lieutenant. Just keep doing all of the things I told you and let them see what you've got, said the general, finishing off his last martini as he turned to walk away. You see, the old general was saying to the young second lieutenant that in order to be successful, he would need to make a career out of serving others. The general told him to start with development of himself, then grow and develop others. Then serve everyone and be willing to sacrifice for the mission and your team if necessary. That's what serving looks like through the eyes of an old general. He basically gave a class about success and significance with a few short sentences. That's a pretty powerful little story. You got to do it. You got to do it again. You got to repeat the cycle over and over and over again, because you really truly never get there. You may be climbing the top of the tallest mountain around, and when you get to the top of that mountain, you can see another mountain that's taller. It's kind of the way it works. So significance starts with you, but it's not about you. Again, success is the foundation of significance. See, significance is not about how far you advance yourself. Significance is about how far you advance others. Success is about me. Significance is about we. I hope you're starting to see the difference. Because a lot of people, they just simply strive for success. They don't understand there's an entirely different level out there. And I didn't understand it till I became intentional about my growth year after year after year. It used to be all about me, so I could get more stuff, so I could make more money, and I could have more toys, and I could have more fun. I could do all that stuff to make my life better. But as the transformation happened on the inside, and I started learning all this stuff from all of my reading and growth and development, I started realizing there's a whole nother level out there. That's when I gave up my lean manufacturing consulting career. And I had left my manufacturing corporate career after 20 years in 2008. I had resigned, gave up my entire income. And after a few years, I was earning about 4 times what I was earning in my corporate career in my own lean manufacturing consulting business. So after 4 years of that, and I was well into the 6 figures, I gave all that up. But see, I didn't give it up for me. I gave it up for you. I gave up my Corvette Z06 with long tube headers. Thing sounded like a NASCAR race car. It was wicked. I loved it. Gave up my Ford Raptor truck. I bought that thing without ever even driving it. Never even opened the door. I saw that when they first come out. That thing looked like a Tonka toy sitting out on the lot when I drove by, and I had to have one. And I had been successful, so it was real easy to go get one. I remember the guy says, "Hey man, don't you want to take it for a test drive before you buy it?" I said, "No sir, I'm gonna drive it home." I didn't need to drive it. I didn't even need to open the door. I just wanted it. That's the way I used to be. It was all about me. I still loved people, in general. I was treating people nice. I was teaching them some stuff, sharing some stuff. But it was really about my success. I had great relationships because if you want to be highly successful, you need to be able to build great relationships. And I was able to do that. And I shared my success with people. I'd let people drive my Vet, let them drive my Raptor. We had a nice home, hot tub, swimming pool. We'd invite people over to enjoy the hot tub and the swimming pool. And we'd provide the drinks and I'd do the cooking. We'd provide the food. You didn't have to bring nothing, just come over. So we were sharing our success with others, which is good. A lot of people don't even do that. They really want to keep it all to themselves. But then I realized there was a completely different level. And in 2012, that's when I gave up my entire income from Lean Consulting. Said, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to focus on success. And I thought I'd always become super wealthy over time doing lean manufacturing consulting. And I'm sure there's no doubt that I would have. But I gave it all up because I decided I wanted to go to another level. And we're going to talk about that next episode. But that level is significance. So I gave up all my stuff. A year later, Rhea gave up her job, her career that she had worked on. She had grown through this same level. And we did it together at the same time. And we both agreed on everything. That was a key point in our relationship. We gave up everything because of what I'm teaching you now. We wanted to become significant in the lives of other people. We want to help them become successful, hoping and praying that some of them are going to choose to become significant. Not all of them, and if they don't, that's fine. They'll be successful, and they'll treat people well, and life will be good. But they got to have that before they truly can become significant in the life of others. So we want to try to help as many people become successful so that they can choose significance. That's what it's about. Success creates momentum. And that's what we had. But when you create momentum, don't rest upon it. Build upon it. And that's what we did when we gave up basically everything. We sold our house. We sold our car. We got rid of everything. We cashed in our retirement. We gave it all up so that I could be here today on this podcast talking to you. I didn't know all that then. Remember, you can't see where you're going. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to have a podcast. I didn't know I was going to have written 13 books by 2020, speaking all over the country. I didn't know all that was going to happen. All I knew is I wanted it to happen. But I didn't even have a clue about the podcast. So I'll share a quote with you from David Schwartz. He says, where success is concerned, people are not measured in inches or pounds or college degrees or family background. They are measured by the size of their thinking. How big we think determines the size of our accomplishments. That's what I was just talking about. As I grew and developed myself, my thinking changed. I started to think at an entirely different level. You keep doing what I've been talking about during this series, and I always talk about on my podcast, but specifically to personal transformation, you don't have a clue what's coming. You just do it and it happens. You just do it and it happens. You don't stop doing it. You can't understand what's coming, what's waiting on you. You may struggle at first to figure out who you want to become and where you want to be. And that's often the hardest part of intentional growth, but it's necessary. Zig Ziglar said it best. Growth is painful. Change is painful. But nothing is as painful as being stuck somewhere you don't belong. However, once you're able to clearly define your vision, pay the price, and actually start moving in the right direction, you're able to continue down the path with much less effort. So your success is not only going to benefit you, as I've talked about. As you create momentum, your success will begin to positively impact the lives of those around you at home and at work. The ultimate way to leverage momentum in your own life is to help others create momentum in their lives. What I'm teaching you right there is what I'm literally doing with my podcast, with my books, when we speak. When you begin to intentionally impact the lives of others positively, you are maximizing momentum. It's no longer about your journey. It's about you helping others along their journey. So achieving your own personal success must come first, because you must steady yourself before you can support and lift others. There's no greater success than helping someone else become successful. And see, we're way up in that pyramid now. You may still be struggling with your own personal transformation, but I'm painting you a big, tall picture of this pyramid. We're up at level 9 out of 10. We're up to the tip, almost to the tip, what it's all about. I'm helping you begin with the end in mind. That's why I say go back and reread the book from beginning to end once you finish it, because then you got a better picture about where you're going. Mark it up. Don't give it away. Even if you love it and you think somebody else needs it, go buy them one, hand it to them. That's significance right there, helping someone else become successful. But don't give them your book, because your book needs to be your tool. You're going to, if you're living life on purpose and intentionally, you're going to reference this book many times in the future. So again, you may not have the book. I hope you go get it, because you're going to need it if you're serious. I'm going to leave you with a quote by Jack Welch. You may remember Jack Welch was the former CEO of General Electric. He got a lot of recognition for really turning that organization around. This is what Jack said. It's been a while. He's been retired for a while now, but he says, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. And in my words, I call what he's describing is a high impact leader. So I'm going to say it again with my word, making it high impact leader. Before you are a high impact leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a high impact leader, success is all about growing others. Because see, I believe everybody's a leader. Everybody's leading on some level. What I'm talking about there, and what Jack was talking about in my words, is about high impact leaders. Those people who are focused on significance and helping others become successful and effective. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Are you going to settle for success? I hope not. So join me next week to learn how to move beyond success and towards significance. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed this series. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen, or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.